Where'd you get this uniform, huh? Looks pretty new for someone pumping gas in Killeen.
It's mine, officer. Staff Sergeant Malachi Boone, United States Marine Corps, currently on active duty.
Uh-huh. People like you, they sell this stuff online all the time. Don't get smart with me.
I'm not being smart, sir. I'm fueling my car.
Don't move. Hands back.
Okay.
Keep your face forward.
I'm compliant, sir. I'm not resisting.
Yeah, we'll see. That. Wrists together.
Okay.
Good.
A Marine in uniform, a badge with bias, and a decision that changed everything. It was supposed to be a routine stop, 5 minutes, maybe 10, just long enough to refuel and get back on the road. On the afternoon of March 18th, 2024, Staff Sergeant Malachi R. Boone, United States Marine Corps, pulled his dark sedan into the Redstone Fuel and Mardoff Harrison Parkway in Callahan, Texas. The gas station sat just outside the routes leading to Fort Cavazos, a place where seeing service members in uniform was not unusual at all. Boone stepped out of his car, wearing his camouflage utilities. The uniform wasn't symbolic. It wasn't for attention. He had just come from an administrative appointment on base, and was heading straight back. 14 years of service, 2 overseas deployments, a platoon training NCO trusted with shaping younger Marines. He slid the nozzle into the tank, eyes on the pump display, unaware that across the street, a patrol officer had already decided he didn't belong. The officer who asked the wrong question, Officer Daryl Kinken, 39 years old, had been with the Callahan Police Department for nearly 12 years. On paper, his record looked solid. High arrest numbers, proactive policing, dependable metrics. Inside the department, however, his reputation was different. Aggressive, confrontational, zero tolerance, and in certain neighborhoods, particularly among black residents near the base, there was another word used far more often: biased. Kinken had accumulated informal complaints over the years, stops that escalated unnecessarily, searches without clear cause, encounters that grew tense when they didn't need to. None of it had ever ended his career, but the pattern was known. That afternoon, Kinken sat in his patrol car watching vehicles cycle through the station. Then he noticed the sedan pull in near Pump 4. The driver stepped out. Camouflage utilities, rank chevrons, name tape visible. To most people in Callahan, a Marine in uniform meant respect. To Kinken, it meant suspicion. He leaned forward. "Dispatch," he said into the radio. "I'm going to check out a black male at Redstone Fuel. Appears military. I want to verify." There had been no call, no complaint, no report, just a decision. "Where'd you get that uniform?" Boone noticed the patrol car roll into the lot, but he didn't react. He had nothing to hide, nothing to explain. The cruiser stopped behind him. A door opened. "Hey," the officer called out. "You in the uniform." Boone turned, hands visible, posture straight out of habit. "Yes, sir." Kinken looked him up and down, but not at the rank first, not at the name tape, at his face. "Where'd you get that uniform?" the officer asked. Boone blinked once. "I'm active duty, sir. United States Marine Corps." Kinken's tone hardened. "I didn't ask what you said you were. I asked where you got it." Boone felt his jaw tighten, but he kept his voice calm. "I'm assigned to Fort Cavazos. Staff Sergeant Malachi Boone. My ID is in my wallet if you need it." Kinken stepped closer. "Too close. I'll decide what I need," he said. "Right now I see someone in fatigues hanging around a public place." Then came the accusation. "You know stolen valor is a felony, right?" "Yes, sir," Boone replied evenly. "I'm aware." Kinken circled him slowly. "Step away from the vehicle." "For what reason, officer?" That question changed everything. "Because I told you to." Boone hesitated for half a second, then complied, setting the nozzle back, stepping away, hands still visible. At the next pump, a couple fell silent. Inside the store, the clerk looked out the window. Across the lot, a woman named Tasha Rowland raised her phone. From suspicion to handcuffs. Kinkin radioed for backup. Subject in military gear, refusing to clearly identify. "I've identified," Boone said. "I offered my ID." He was ignored. "Turn around. Face the car." "Am I being detained?" "Right now you're being investigated," Kinkin replied. "Big difference." Boone turned as instructed. "Hands behind your head." He complied, slow, deliberate, trained. Then Kinkin grabbed his wrist. "Am I being placed under arrest?" Boone asked. Instead of an answer, the officer twisted his arm higher than necessary. "You're being detained until I figure out who you really are." Metal cuffs snapped shut. Gasps moved through the lot. "He didn't do anything," Tasha Rowland said from behind her phone. "He told you who he is." Kinkin shot her a glare. "Mind your business." Then, under his breath, words that would later echo in a federal courtroom. "You people always have an answer." Confirmed, yet still detained. Backup arrived. Dispatch ran the name. "Subject comes back active duty," the radio confirmed. "Staff Sergeant Malachi Boone, assigned to Fort Cavazos. No wants, no warrants." Kinkin didn't remove the cuffs. "Run it again," he said. "Confirmed," dispatch replied. "He's active duty." Still, Boone was shoved into the back of the patrol car. "You're not on base," Kinkin told him. "Out here, I'm in charge." Minutes later, a supervisor arrived. "Why is he still cuffed?" Sergeant Ronan Whitaker asked. "There's something about the situation I don't like," Kinkin replied. Whitaker looked at the phones recording the scene. "Uncuff him." Reluctantly, Kinkin complied. Boone stepped out, straightened his uniform, and spoke calmly. "Sir, I will be filing a formal complaint." Whitaker nodded. "That's your right." The video that changed everything. By the time Boone drove away, the video was already online. Captioned simply, "Officer detains Black Marine in uniform. Refuses to believe his ID." Within hours, it spread nationwide. Boone reported the incident to his chain of command the same day. The next morning, Base Legal contacted the police department, then Internal Affairs, then the Department of Defense Inspector General, then the Department of Justice. Bodycam footage told a story no report could erase. The assumptions, the language, the refusal to de-escalate after confirmation. Federal investigators called it what it was: detention without probable cause, discriminatory enforcement, abuse of authority, from badge to defendant. Officer Darrell Kinkin was placed on administrative leave. Old complaints resurfaced. Patterns emerged. Witnesses came forward. A grand jury was convened. And when Kinkin walked into a federal courtroom in Waco, Texas, he no longer wore a uniform. The charges were read: deprivation of rights under color of law, unlawful detention, excessive force, falsification of reports. The jury saw the footage. They heard the words. They watched Boone testify, calm, precise, unwavering. The verdict was unanimous. Guilty. At sentencing, the judge spoke plainly. "You used your badge to humiliate and restrain a man based on race. That is not a mistake. That is a betrayal." 70 years in federal prison. The same cuffs Kinkin once used were placed on his wrists. Accountability, finally. Outside the courthouse, reporters asked Boone how he felt. "This was never about revenge," he said. "It was about accountability. The uniform I wear represents service to a country that promises equal protection. Today, that promise was enforced. If you believe no one is above the law, no matter what badge they wear, like this video, share it, and subscribe, because these are the stories T. Hat deserve to be told,